You got problems in your life and you need advice. All you gotta do is ask Chauntel.
I am outside, so if my audio isn't the best, you will understand why, okay? But it is a really beautiful night, and I'm excited to be outside answering this question. Now, you all's questions are becoming more and more personal, and you're allowing me to open my heart up and pour out to you even more about myself as I relate to your question and respond and react to what you guys are saying. And I just want to thank you so much for your support and for asking your questions. And for those of you that are watching support, thank you as well for your support. So this particular question is really sad, and I can relate to this. I can't say that I've had these exact experiences that this individual had, but I can really relate to what she's going through. And I'm going to read her question to you because I don't believe that I can do it justice, okay, by paraphrasing it, okay? So it's from Amber, and she is 17 from West Virginia, and she writes, I am black, and I grew up in a predominantly white school my entire life, where kids wear Confederate flags to school and homes and still have KKK masks hanging in their doors of their homes. I never thought much of it until I started being bullied for being black. And this started as early as kindergarten. I'm 17, and these words can still bring the same emotions they brought back 10 years ago. I still deal with racist comments here and there in high school. It often makes me question my existence. I also have very low self-esteem. I don't even want anyone to look at me because I feel like I'm being judged. I don't want to go outside during the summer because of fear of getting darker. And oftentimes I go on low-calorie diets to try to lose my ethnic features. At the end of the day, I'm still black. I don't mind, but with all the hate that is attached to it, it makes me want to be different. I am in all honors and AP classes, and I once heard the remark, "You look like a B or C student." I wouldn't say straight A's unless you were white. So basically, unless she was white, she couldn't make straight A's. It's my senior year, and I have no spirit at all because I have no pride in that school. And my parents just think I'm stubborn, but I can't be happy in a place I'm not accepted. I don't really have friends. I have associates. I don't talk to anyone outside of school. No one ever invites me places, mostly because their parents are racist. Even my associates make stereotypical comments because when other people say things about me, they just agree. It seems like every day there is a new comment, and I can't help but to isolate myself in my room and cry about it. The only good side is I will be going to an out-of-state college. Wow, Amber, you did not ask a specific question, but I do want to respond to what you said. And first of all, the saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me, is so untrue. And I don't know who came up with that, but that was so untrue, to say the least. You have dealt with a situation that so many people before you have also dealt with. I can't say that I've dealt with it to the extent that you have, but I'd like to share my experience with you so that maybe you wouldn't feel that you're alone, because you are definitely not alone in this. And if you all like to comment on her email, please comment below. Tell her your experience. Tell her what you think about this. Just pour your heart out to her as she has poured her heart out to share with us. So Amber, obviously I'm black, and I also grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. And that really took a toll on my self-esteem as well. I remember being young and wishing to be white because I felt like I was too black for the white people and too white for the black people, and I never felt accepted. I also had a really hard time making friends. The way that I talked, I would get teased about. They would call me white girl, or in the black circles, and then in the white circles, I just never could seem to fit in. My hair wasn't long enough. My skin wasn't light enough. I didn't talk, the same way or about the same things. It wasn't really the way I talked, it was more so what was talked about. I didn't get the jokes. So I always kind of felt like an outsider. I always kind of felt alienated. So I can relate to you in that. As far as the KKK signs, I don't even know how that would feel to see that. That's so horrible, you know. But racism is real, and I think that people are forgetting, you know, that there's horrible things that have happened in history and that are still going on right now. So I'm so glad that you told your story, because you're really bringing this to the forefront. I'm from California, and people in California don't like to talk about racism. We like to think that it's behind us, but in reality, it isn't. It's still present. It's still here. I dealt with it too, not to the extreme that you did, but here on YouTube, I was called the N-word. I was all kind of crazy things were said on comments people leave, just mean things for no reason at all. But people are that way, you know, they're going to be that way. And I have to take you to the Bible on this, okay? Because the Bible says that we were all created in God's image. So that means that you are beautiful no matter what anybody else says, just the way you are. You don't have to change your curves in your body. I believe that that's what you were referring to when you talked about being on a diet to lose your ethnic features. You know, the curves in your body are beautiful. I had a hard time accepting mine as well, especially your age, okay? Not to get into too many details, but when I started growing in different areas, it was very uncomfortable for me. I didn't like it, you know. I was getting unwanted attention from men that I didn't really necessarily like. I felt like I was bigger in places that I just was used to being smaller in. And I had to learn to accept and love myself for who I am. Even in my family, I was like a little bit darker than maybe my cousins were. And I just really struggled with that, because for some reason our society has made it that if you are dark skinned or if you have brown skin, then you're automatically ugly. And the crazy thing about this is not just black culture. I had roommates who were Asian and Japanese, especially. I remember talking to my Japanese roommate, because I had Japanese, Vietnamese, Korean, all different types of Asian roommates throughout college. But I remember having a conversation with my Japanese roommate early on, and we talked about how if you were lighter, you were more favorable to men. And then I talked to my other friend who I met in college, and she was from Somalia, which is a country in Africa. And she told me about these creams that they would use to lighten their skin. And my particular friend was so amazingly beautiful. I mean, her skin was like butter. It was so clear. There was no blemishes. She had this beautiful, crinkly, natural hair. She was so pretty. And she would tell me about how her family and how her friends would say, oh, you would be so beautiful if you just lighten your skin a little bit. And I couldn't believe it, because I'm looking at her, and the color that her skin was one that I had never seen before. I guess it was that pure Somalian African, you know, blood that she had. It just didn't look like, you know, the next black person that I would see that I'm used to seeing. My point in saying all this is we all, and no matter where you're from, no matter what culture, your background, it's always been, you know, about this craziness that our skin should define us. Even the shade of our skin should define us. And black people are horrible at this. And we all have become subject to this ridicule. And if you're too light, if you're too dark, it's like you can't win, because you got white people who are trying to suntan so that they can get a little darker. And you got black people who are putting on cream so they can get a little lighter. It makes absolutely no sense. We are beautiful as who we are, and you have to learn to embrace that. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, somebody isn't going to like you. And God talks about this in the Bible. Actually, Jesus talks about, he says, you know, they talked about me, so they're going to talk about you. So people are always going to do that. So what you have to do is you have to find self-confidence in who you are and what you have, and don't try to change or be different. I know that it's kind of hard to even imagine not doing that in the situation that you're in, because you've been ridiculed for so long, and oh my goodness, how much this hurts. But you've got to find the power deep within yourself to believe that you are beautiful. God made you who you are. And no matter what anybody says, they cannot take that away from you. If God wanted you to be white, He would have made you white. If God wanted you to be lighter, He would have made you lighter. If God wanted your eyes to be bigger, He would have made your eyes bigger. If God didn't want you to have curves, then you wouldn't have curves. But you know what? He made you just the way you are for a reason. And oh my goodness, how boring the world would be if we were all the same. The Bible also talks about, if you read this in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, it talks about us being different parts of the same body, meaning that we all need each other and we all are different. And the fact that we are different is what makes us stronger. And if we all tried to be the same, then we would have there'd be no strength, there would be no weaknesses. It would just be the same. And that's boring. Now, if you would like to move away from the situation that you are in, I would completely understand. However, do not allow the people around you, okay, to drive you away from what you call home. Now, if you don't feel that that is a place that you want to be in, I would absolutely understand if you wanted to remove yourself from this situation. But you know what? This is a fight that our ancestors and their ancestors and many, many before them were fighting. Before slavery in America and, racism there was racism in other places, and there's still racism in other places in the world. So no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter what time zone you're in, this is going to be an issue. So I would say, instead of letting these people drive who you are and letting them define yourself, you need to find out who you are, embrace that, okay? And I'm preaching to the choir because I dealt with the same thing. And then talk about it. I want you to become a spokesperson for loving yourself and going out there and telling people, you know what, I dealt with this adversity, I dealt with that, but I found a way to love me. And you know what? This staying in your room and crying to yourself, I understand why you do it, but you know what? You got to stop feeling sorry for yourself. We're all handed a deck of cards, and however you deal them is up to you. So with that being said, stop going in your room crying at night. Learn to love you and start going out there. When people say stuff, just let it roll off your shoulder and use that as empowerment to make yourself better. And you know what? I was in honors classes as well. And, I was a straight A student as well. And I was in a lot of the gifted classes. And there wasn't a lot of black kids in those classes. Not to say that black kids are not smart, but their parents don't always know about the situations. And there's so many different things. It could be that their parents were working. It could be that they didn't really know the value of it. It could be so many different things. But the point being, and also I lived in a place where there wasn't a lot of black people to begin with. But the point is that I was in those classes and I dealt with these same things. So you know what? You earned your grades. No one can take your education away from you. They can say whatever they want to say, but that piece of paper proves not who you are, but it proves what you did and the time that you put in and that you are smart. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise, okay? I would ask God for strength in this area. I would ask God for favor, and I would ask God for some true friends. My dad told me when I was way younger, he said, Chauntel, if you could ever meet just one person who was your friend, then you are doing amazing. You are so blessed. You can find one true friend. So you know what? I want you to go find that one true friend. And everybody else, forget about them, because you know what? You can't hardly trust friends anyway. You feel me? Well, I'm going to stop going on and on and on and ranting. But I mean, I hope that I said something that was able to kind of grasp what you're feeling and what you're dealing with, and let you know you're not alone and you're going to get through this, and you've got to learn to begin to embrace yourself for who you are. I have been there. I know how it feels. But my dad told me, you are beautiful as you are, and you have to accept that. And there's people that want to be you, so just love that. And he told me that probably when I was like 13, and I never forgot that conversation. It really made an impact on my life, and so I'm telling you the same thing now. And I hope and I pray that things get better for you, because this is not a fair situation for you to be in. Please, you guys, respond to her email and what she had to say and the things that she's dealt with. And if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to share your story, email me at askchauntel@gmail.com. That is askchauntel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, and don't forget to subscribe. Hugs and kisses.